welcome to another episode of OPETH Music Theory. Today we're taking a look at paragraph 1 off of The Last Will and Testament. I'm probably going to end up doing this entire album at some point, but we'll start at the beginning. So we're on paragraph 1. I'm going to play the sections as always, and then we'll talk about them. So here we go. Here's the intro to paragraph 1. We're in drop D, and most of this appears to be in D minor, which is pretty typical for OPETH. We're going to start the analysis right about here. All right, so that section that we just heard, this part, those are all octaves, and we're basically doing an F to an A flat, which is like a minor third, down a half step to G, and then we're down a major third to E flat, and then we're back up to an F sharp, and then back to an E flat. So we're kind of outlining the chords of D minor. The F is the 3 chord, the A flat is the tritone, the G is the 4, the E flat is the flat 2, the F sharp is the major third, and then the E flat again is the flat 2. So D minor slash D Locrian being that mode that contains the flat 2 and the flat 5. All of which is contained in this little section here. Then we're doing a series of very fast notes. We got D's, we got E flats, we got A's, B flats, F sharps, E flats, G's, and some more A's. So mostly the same stuff we just dealt with. D being the root, right? E being the flat 2. The A is the 5, the B flat is the 6, the F sharp's the major third. So we're playing with that major to minor tonality switch. Even within the riff, there are an F and an F sharp kind of back to back during this section specifically. Let me just play this for you. So they're literally just mixing like everything into one basket. D being the root, whether you call it D minor at times or D Locrian at times, you know, that's up to you. But we have all the earmarks of great OPETH stuff so far. Flat 2s, flat 5s, major thirds, minor thirds, back to back. Absolutely great. Let's move ahead to this next section here. We're going to bring in, OPETH is one of those bands that bring in a lot of augmented chords, which I don't really see that often. I haven't analyzed everything, but augmented chords don't show up that often in metal. And these guys do it very well. They're going to do a D augmented down to a C augmented, and that starts right about here. So that's those 2 augmented chords back and forth with the low D as the pedal. And then we have one more little section here I want to get to. It's this. These are essentially octaves. Very, very infectious part. I just want to sing it. All right, so as I said, those are all octaves. We're essentially on, we have an F sharp octave down to a D, and then we're back up to an F octave. So there we're mixing the modes there. We have the F sharp as the major third, the F as the minor third. Then we're down to an E, which is the second. We also have a C sharp, which comes from like the D harmonic minor version, and then followed by a C, which is part of the D natural minor section. So you have 3 things going on here. You have a very infectious rhythm, right? You have octaves being the mode of transportation for all the notes being played, And then you have a mixture of minor thirds, minor sevens, major sevens, really just expanding out all the possible color options we have for the song thus far. So it's classic Opeth as always. I'm going to continue with the song. So I'm going to continue looking ahead, and I'll see you guys on the other side. All right, guys, on to the next section. We're up on measure 37 here. Let's take a listen to what we have. All right, so that section is essentially just a play on 3 notes. We're still rooted in D minor. We've got the D. We also have an F and an E. So it's essentially starting on the F, dropping down to the E, back to the F, back to the E, and eventually down to the D. So it's like a 3-2-1 in D minor. Nothing too fancy, but it is heavy. And for being 4/4, it sounds very like off kilter a little bit because we're dealing with some triplets and some ties. There are some ties over the bar line, which make that a little bit more interesting than it should be. On to measure 59 here. Let's listen to this. All right, and that's nothing more than some big power chords. We've got the D up to the E flat, back to the D, up to the E, and then back down to the E flat. So we're dealing with the root, the second, and the flat second. Okay, and that flat second is hugely important to everything Opeth does, especially in this song. There's been tons of flat twos. All right, this next section, which is actually titled Fucking Weird, in the tab itself, aptly titled, but let's check it out and then we'll discuss it. Here we go. Amazing, right? Absolutely. These guys are just every 4 bars they have a new section. This is dizzying. All right, so this section here, we're basically using the notes. They're out of order. Obviously, you're not going to play a scale in order, but we're using the scale tones of the D harmonic minor scale. So it's essentially like all the natural notes of D minor, but there's B flat thrown in, which is the natural 6, but then the C sharp, which is that raised 7th, making it the harmonic minor version of itself. This next section throws in, let me see here. Where are we? This next section throws in 2 chords. The first one is like an F sus4 over C, and then that sus resolves itself to F over C, F major over C. And that, of course, would just be a play on the 3 chord. So that's this section. And then here's the major. And then it's right back into the circus. All right. The next section we're going to look at here uses a play on multiple D chords. The first one is just simply D minor, setting the stage for our foundation. The next one is a D sus2, and then the last one is just a D tritone. And so that's this section. It's also in 9/8 time. D. That was quick. Let me do that again. So we're going D, D2, D diminished. D, D2, D diminished. D diminished. Opeth really does like sus chords. I just realized that. There's quite a few sus chords in some of their songs. Good stuff. There's one more section, guys, before we're done with this. Paragraph 1. And it's a recurring theme. I believe this occurred at the beginning of the song. They're throwing in a C augmented chord with D's in the bass, and then they're throwing in a D augmented chord with D's in the bass as well. And so you get a little tension. First of all, the augmented chord itself is very unique, but then with the tension of the unchanged bass note of D makes things very interesting. So let's check that out. Here is your C augmented. And there's your D augmented. And then from there, it's just back into the craziness. I think that's going to cover it for this one, guys. I'm going to end up attempting to do this entire album if I have the capabilities and the time. I hope you guys are enjoying this kind of stuff. OPETH seems to be one of my most sought-after video types. So thank you for watching. If you're still here, let me know in the comments you are still here, because I appreciate you. And I'm going to keep going, so hit that fucking like button. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Peace.